My name is Maya. I'm 31, the oldest daughter, the peacemaker, the one who fixes things and calls it love. In my family, being useful always meant being quiet. If something broke, I glued it together. If someone cried, I found my wallet. My sister Jenna has 4 kids and a halo. If she sneezes, people applaud. If I bleed, they tell me, you'll manage. I grew up learning that affection came with invoices, not hugs. When something went wrong, Dad sighed, Maya will handle it. When Jenna cried, Mom called me. When I cried, Mom said, you're stronger than this. Strength wasn't a compliment in our house, it was a job title. I could feel the old script tugging at me, the smile I'd practiced for years sitting just under my skin. My hands went cold while my face tried to stay warm. We lived 12 days behind every bill and 12 months behind every plan, but somehow Jenna always had new clothes. Mom called it balance. I was the responsible one, which turned me invisible. If I said no, it was attitude. If I asked for space, it was disrespect. Every boundary turned into a family meeting. By 16, I was babysitting Jenna's kids. By 18, I was paying her phone bill. By 22, I was wiring money for emergencies that somehow lasted years. Dad called it family. Mom called it love. I called it exhaustion. You're never home anyway, they said, and that line followed me through college and rent and birthdays I missed while fixing theirs. Peace shouldn't feel like disappearing. It shouldn't sound like silence dressed up as love. It wasn't peace. It was maintenance, and I was the one holding the tools. My role was repairwoman, not daughter. The bakery smell clung to Lucas like home, yeast and cinnamon, a quiet promise that not everything would be taken and tallied. Then I met Lucas. He laughed with his whole face and asked questions instead of favors. He brought granola bars in case you forgot yourself. His parents ran a bakery and argued about flour like surgeons debate instruments. They gave without keeping score. When they offered us an apartment as a wedding gift, my ribs loosened. 2 rooms, a tiny balcony for 2 friendly chairs, a door that locked from the inside. We hadn't signed yet, but on Monday after the wedding they said, only if you both want it. No strings, no ledger. I told my family at Sunday dinner. Mom smiled like a patient wearing perfume. That's lovely and practical, she said. Jenna can use it when you travel. When Mom said practical, I watched her eyes do math. In our family, generosity was always an equation that ended in my column. It's ours, I said, gently. You're never home anyway, she answered, that sentence padding around the room in slippers. Jenna started treating it like community property. She asked for the visitor pass number, school pickups would be easier if she parked there. She asked for keys for emergencies. She posted a board of balcony ideas and tagged me with hearts. When I reminded her we hadn't signed, she replied with laughing emojis. Details. Be a team player. I kept hearing the tiny clink of the ring on metal, that soft sound carrying more weight than all the speeches. It was a line drawn with a fingertip and a breath. The week before the wedding she called 12 times. Can the lease go in my name for taxes? She asked, making theft sound like teamwork. No, I said. Absolutely not. She sighed like I had slammed a door. You're never home anyway. Dad texted later, a good sister helps. I had become a good sister by disappearing. Lucas noticed how my shoulders lifted. He touched my arm, steady. We can say no, he said. We can say it without apologizing. I practiced in the mirror. No, not this time. Our home. Our keys. In the notary's office the lemon cleaner bit the air, and the paper rasped under my pen. My name looked steady on the page, even while my elbow shook. The night before the wedding, I stared at the photo of that balcony, 2 chairs almost touching, a space small enough to belong to us. Mom messaged the group thread, apartment plan after the ceremony. No question mark, just certainty typed in pixels. My chest tightened like old laces. Lucas put a pastry in my hand. Eat, he said softly. Tomorrow we choose the door. Ceremony done. Photos done. Cinnamon in the air, kids chasing napkin capes. I almost believed we were safe. Mom approached wearing her announcement smile. Dad hovered, arms folded like punctuation. Jenna drifted close, already laughing. Our apartment sounded different with the windows open, bus brakes, a kettle somewhere, footsteps above us. Ordinary noises felt like a choir I finally belonged to. Bright and calm, Mom said, "We're passing the apartment to Jenna." The forks paused midair. Lucas's fingers tightened around mine. Jenna tossed her hair. "Relax. It's just a place to sleep." Dad dropped the old hammer. "She has 4 kids. Grow up." That sentence has lived in our house for years. It walks into holidays and emergencies. Today, it walked down the aisle. The reflex rose like muscle memory: smile, make it easy, say we'll talk later, fix it quietly, bleed privately. When the knock came, the old instinct sprinted to the door. I made it stand still. The pancakes browned in the pan and the room kept its shape without permission. Lucas moved first. He slid off his ring, precise, not dramatic, and set it beside the coffee urn. "Before we sign anything," he said, calm, "we're going to be clear about who decides our home." The room leaned in. Mom's smile didn't blink. "Sweetheart, you're new here," she told him. "You don't understand how we support each other." "I understand," Lucas said. "I've watched Maya hand over weekends and paychecks and sleep. I've watched her get erased because she's dependable." At the store, the lights hummed and the floor smelled faintly like oranges from a broken box. I noticed Mom's shoulders rounding, like a coat she couldn't put down. Jenna rolled her eyes. "Oh my God, it's just a place. Stop making drama." My voice arrived anyway. "It's not your place," I said. "It's ours." Dad leaned in, low and warning. "Careful how you speak to your mother." Back home, the key turned with a clean click, and the quiet didn't accuse me. It just stayed. I breathed through the old choke. "I'm speaking to the plan, not the person," I said. "Either way, the answer is no." Mom's eyes sharpened. "After everything we've done for you." "We're not unrolling a ledger today," Lucas said. "Today is about boundaries." Jenna laughed, small and knife-edged. "So selfish." 4 kids, Maya. "I know their names," I said softly. "I won't fund your emergencies by default." Mom's voice dropped to sugar-coated steel. "You think you'll keep him acting like this? Women who divide families don't last." Lucas didn't look away. "She's not dividing anything," he said. "She's ending an extraction." Silence spread. I lifted the ring, pressed it into my palm, and looked at the faces I've kept calm for years. "My home isn't a communal cupboard," I said. "My no isn't cruelty. It's adulthood." "Grow up," Dad muttered again. "I just did," I answered. Mom recovered fast. "We'll sort paperwork Monday," she said. "It's best for everyone." "For you," Lucas said. "Not for us." We went back to our table like a regular couple. The cake tasted like oxygen. Across the room, my parents called relatives one by one. Jenna typed furiously, her thumb snapping. None of it changed the sentence in the air: our home, our decision. The next morning my phone pulsed like an alarm: missed calls, group chats, demands dressed as love. "Dad, family meeting. 4 o'clock. Don't be late." Jenna, a photo of the kids. "If you love us, prove it." At noon, we signed with a notary. 18 minutes, lemon cleaner, a manila envelope that felt like a future. At 13:58, we parked at my parents' house. "Together," Lucas said. "Together," I answered. Inside looked like a hearing. Mom on the couch. Dad folded tight. Jenna with a notebook. The TV on mute. On the fridge, a fresh list in my handwriting: call power, fix the sink, check Jenna's car. Mom cleared her throat. "We'll do this quickly. Give Jenna the apartment for a year. We'll revisit after." "You're never home anyway." "No," I said. Dad bristled. "Don't speak to your mother like that." "I'm speaking to the plan," I said. "The answer is no." Jenna tried an alternative. "Pay us $100 a month below market. And tax." The children need stability. I'm their aunt, I said. Not a second income stream. Lucas kept his voice gentle. We're not negotiating our home. Mom's smile cracked. You think you'll keep him like this? Women who divide families don't last. She isn't dividing anything, he said. She's ending an extraction. Dad said, if your sister ends up stranded, that's on you. She won't, I said. She has you. She has choices. Jenna's eyes glossed. You don't understand how hard it is. I do, I said. I've been underwriting hard. Silence settled like dust. Mom stood. If you leave now, you're not family. If that's the rule you need, I said, okay. I love you. We're going home. We walked out with the envelope. Outside air felt undecorated and honest. At our building, the stairwell echoed. 2 rooms, a tiny balcony, a future on laminate floors. I set the keys on the counter, then put them in a drawer, practice for not leaving them out. Days after were noise disguised as concern, texts about blood pressure and crying children, posts about people who only show up for photos. I answered once, I love you. Not discussing our apartment. Saturday, a knock with the family rhythm, too quick, too certain. Maya, Mom called. Open up. Jenna, the kids have to pee. We didn't move. We texted, please don't come without asking. We're not home. A lie and a boundary. I stood still and didn't apologize. Lucas made pancakes. We ate slowly. The phone vibrated face down. Inside our door, we pinned a note, do we want this? A ritual before every yes. I exhaled and heard the room, not applause or sirens, just a Tuesday arriving. The breaking point wasn't a slam, it was a click. 2 weeks later, the phone was mostly quiet. Not gone, quieter. Guilt messages still arrived like weather. I learned not to stand outside. We built a routine that didn't ask for apologies. Coffee at 6:15. Run if it wasn't raining. Eggs if it was. We argued about the squeaky faucet, then laughed. We oversalted pasta and ate all of it. We named the balcony plant Maybe. Maybe it lives. Maybe it doesn't. On the inside of our door, the note stayed, do we want this? A pause big enough to breathe through. Sundays, I called my nieces for 20 minutes. If they didn't answer, I tried next week. Love wasn't a chase anymore. At the grocery store I saw Mom, smaller than I remembered, hands on the cart like it might float away. Are you happy? She asked, careful. Not mean, just tired. I'm honest, I said. You're not the girl I raised, she whispered. I know, I said. I finally grew up. We stood in the hum of refrigerators, no courtroom, no choir, just 2 women trying a new language. I don't want revenge. I want closure. I want love that isn't a bill. I want a home that isn't a debt. Back at the apartment, the lock clicked. The sound was ordinary and holy. Lucas set down a bag of oranges and kissed my forehead like punctuation. The room smelled like quiet and citrus. I put 2 chairs on the balcony. I didn't leave a spare key, just in case. For the first time, I believed the door was allowed to close. If your family ever called boundaries betrayal, you're not alone. Tell me how you chose peace so someone else can find theirs.